Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Jack Halford Podcast, and this week I'm speaking to you with a traffic cone. I have no idea why. I guess I'm just trying to, hold something different every week. And the funny thing is, a traffic cone is something that is used by students on nights out. It's used by passive aggressive neighbours on streets to stop their neighbours parking in their spot in front of their house, innit? And you can sort of use it like this to sort of say whatever you got to say in a sort of drunken night out. It's a useful thing on motorways. I suppose you'd call it road furniture. You'd call it road furniture, wouldn't you? Yeah, what I've been up to this week? Well, I've been writing my little publication that I'm trying to get out about perception. I've been looking into ocular biology. I've learnt some fascinating things about photoreceptors and how light bounces off of objects and then it sort of comes into our eye. How it comes into our eye. Well, at night time, our irises expand our pupils so that it can let more light in and hit more of our photoreceptors on the back of our eye, which is called the retina, which is a photosensitive bit of tissue that lines the back of our eyeballs, which has loads of photoreceptors on. There's two different kinds of photoreceptors. You've got cones, which are in the center of the retina, and then you've got on the peripheries of the retina, you have rods. And we have more rods than we have cones. And in low light situations, we use the rods to see in low light. But they only see in grayscale. The cone photoreceptors are the ones that perceive colour. So, at night, our brain is drawing from memory to produce colour a lot of the time. If there's absolutely hardly any light, the brain is using a lot of its power and memory to sort of put colour onto things. So really what you're seeing isn't objective reality, it's sort of subjective reality. It's made up, which fascinates me and makes me think, well, if the brain is drawing from memory to help us see colour in low light situations, what else is it making up? And that's what I'm writing about. I'm sort of using that as a starting point. And then there's also going to be prints, drawings and things in these little books that I'm going to be releasing very soon. If you pre-ordered, I'm sorry I keep pushing the date, but I am working hard on it. I've got a good schedule. That's why I'm doing all the meal prepping and everything, just so I could work very hard on this publication and get it out. Also, last week, obviously, visited the amazing Ruby Townsend at her residency she's doing at Ilcon, which is in Ilkeston. Very, very cool place. Recommend. I'm going to be doing a couple of workshops there. 2 workshops at Ilkeston Contemporary Arts. One in from 12 till 3 p.m. on May the 4th, and one from 4 till 7 p.m. on May the 4th, and they are both going to be exploring and teaching you how to do lino cutting. Very basic, teaching you how to design, transfer the design onto the lino blocks, how to carve it, and then we're going to be using a printing press that I'm yet to make, but I've got the parts. I'm going to DIY it and show people how to make prints. It's going to be fun. It's £10 per person if you want to come, if you're near. Also going to be doing some workshops in Leicester at 2 Queen's Gallery over 4 days. It's kind of during when Bring the Paint is on, which is an international graffiti festival here in Leicester. It's pretty cool. So those workshops are going to be from the 26th of May until the 29th of May. Over 4 days, one session in the morning, one session in the afternoon. get those details on all of the socials and everything soon. There'll be flyers about. I think it's going to be fun, and they're going to be maybe £25 each, or we'll see. Maybe if you listen to this, you'll get a special promo code if you're a listener, and you can get it cheaper. Also, might do some deals for the lads at the Brotherhood and do some like giveaways. So, yeah, stay tuned to that. Yeah, so it was very, very cool. All good stuff that's going on. Yes. So you got Perception, making things, myself doing all this DIY stuff. I really enjoy making paint myself. That's fun. And I was talking to this psychologist / philosopher in Bulgaria online. I've sent her a couple of books to give her students because it's a nice thing to do, isn't it? But she's going to be having a chat with me on Monday about all this perspective stuff. I think it's a very good thing to talk to other people about things you're writing about, because that gives you different perspectives and helps the creative process. Sometimes I get wound up with collaborations, because I don't like being told what to do, and often when people say something different to what I want to do, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. But it's good to just collaborate and to sort of think about things and go at ideas and come to compromises and things, because I think that you get things done a lot faster when you collaborate. Although I think sometimes that I get things done faster if I just do it myself, because I don't have to wait for anyone. I just like to get the job done. Pardon me. Yeah. That's what's been happening. I also voted, because I've got some Amazon stock at the minute. I noticed that I could vote for like decisions they're going to make, the company. So I decided to have a look at that. And the board of directors, they're like, we recommend that you don't vote for a report on workers' rights. And I was like, well, I definitely want that, because I care about workers' rights. So I'm gonna say go against the board of directors on that one. And then they also don't want anyone to look into what they're doing with AI. And I was like, that's a bit weird. So I want you to look into that. So I voted for that. And also something about not declaring political donations. I was like, well, I want to know who you're donating to politically, because I just find it interesting, to be honest. And these board of directors, dodgy. And this is like Jeff Bezos and stuff. You can vote on all of these things, even if you own like a fraction of a share, you can still vote. So what I would recommend everyone do, if you want to have an impact, that's the best way to have an impact on these companies, is to actually own a part of them. So if everyone just sort of brought, 0.01% of Amazon or Microsoft or whatever company, and it was the majority of those companies were owned by the people that are like workers who care about workers' rights and things, these companies will then have to listen to us and start to act differently because we own them. So, yeah, I think that's the best way to sort of affect change in sort of a capitalist state, as well as protesting. Obviously, you've got to keep doing that, else if you don't do that, then those rights just get taken away from you. I heard that bird flu is coming back on a podcast the other day. I was like, oh, that sounds a bit scary. Apparently it's affecting cattle. They said if it does go from the cattle to the pork, to the pigs, then we might have a really big problem, because apparently pigs are very similar to how our bodies are. So if it gets to pigs, then we might have to start worrying, because they could possibly transfer that virus to humans, and then that could be really dangerous, because apparently the mortality rate for this thing is like 70%, which is a bit fucking scary. So that's something I'm being wary of. Like, if you're fat and over fucking weight and you're unhealthy and you eat shit, get that sorted out, because if you have a shit immune system, you're definitely gonna fucking kick it. So pack all the shit in and get fucking healthy if you want to survive this next pandemic that's gonna definitely probably happen, because viruses are always mutating. And freaks me out a little bit thinking about it. I don't want more lockdowns. I think that'll fuck everything up. Everyone's heads are already fucked. Money is fucked. The economy is fucked a little bit. We're all going to be alright, as long as we all stick together and don't let that hateful talk get in our heads too much. I think we'll all be alright. You got to remember is we're all going to kick it one day, so why not just be nice? You know, fuck all of this racism and homophobia and whatever, and just be cool. Don't mean you can't take the piss, like have a joke around, but I think sometimes people get too much into it and then they start to believe it, so I don't like that. There's something else I'm writing about as well, sort of like what do you call it, bloody echo chambers and what's it called, flipping I don't know, selective bias or confirmation bias. That's what you get in echo chambers, confirmation bias. When you're in an echo chamber, when you're just surrounded by people that agree with you, you're only looking at information in a certain way and then just confirming what each other think. It's sort of like brainwashing, but like a bit more subtle. But if you just hang around with people that agree with you, that are very agreeable, that are yes men, you're never going to be challenged. So it's important to also listen to people that you don't agree with, so you can get a whole idea of the picture. That's what people didn't think Brexit was going to happen, because everyone's just sort of in their own little circles. It was 50-50, wasn't it? I thought it might be actually quite a good thing, because I'm sort of like the Tony Benn lot. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn even thought Brexit would be a good idea, but then he sort of had to change his mind because he was pressured. But I like the idea, because I'm a bit of an anarchist, and I don't really like the idea of a big sort of world government, and I feel like that's what the EU kind of is. Although I do like the idea of having less restrictions on borders and things, but it's not that difficult to travel. Yeah, I don't really like borders, but I suppose you do have to have... I think it's good to have security and stuff. I think it is. You need a bit of law and order. If everyone's just allowed to go wherever they want, there might be some fucking proper dodgy people that just come in and then they're here. But there's dodgy people here already, and we don't want them going wherever. We want them in prison or whatever. We just keep an eye on them. So I think it's a good idea to have a immigration, security, border patrols and stuff. Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like hippy-dippy free-for-all, does it? But you need rules and restrictions. If you didn't have rules and restrictions, you actually wouldn't be that free, because everyone would be... I think everything would just be a bit more chaotic, and there'd be even more corruption than there already is, and there's always corruption anyway when you've got power imbalance. So, yeah. But who knows? I'm not some political expert, although I've sort of been into politics since a young age, so I suppose I've been very into it for over a decade now. So I suppose I could talk about it anyway. Sure, fucking talk about it if you want to. I just don't think it's a very good idea to get too heated when you're with family or friends. You don't lose friends, family over it's a load of bollocks. Just shut that down. shut it down. So I was thinking, because these workshops I'm doing are about sort of like radical publishing and printmaking. I'm going to make them more like a punk kind of thing. I think that would be fun, because I do feel a bit like a punk. I like the outskirts of society. Like I was sort of talking to some colleagues actually the other day in a meeting, talking about how people, other artists or artists of themselves, and I don't know which way round it is, but I don't really feel like another, and I'm trying to be quite relatable with my artwork and trying not to be too much of an outsider. I don't think that's a good thing. Why would I want to be an outsider? I want to be an insider. I want to be part of the community. I like the community. I'd like people that feel ostracised and othered to feel like they are part of a bloody community and they're inside it. So I don't feel like it's a good idea to other yourself, or to say that, oh look, I'm so cool, I'm different to everyone else. And you're not. We're all the fucking same. So shut up. You know, people like being different, so they just come up with all these different fucking labels put on themselves because they think it's cool. But it's not cool about that. It's, you know, you could be a bit different, but the point being, they're all all got shit inside us, ready to get shat out. You know, it's a load of bollocks. Like, if you're trying to be different just for fucking the hell of it, I don't understand. Like, it's just silly. It's bloody silly, that. Like, so what, it'd be fucking boring if everyone wore the same clothes and stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about people that are contrarians just for the fuck of it. You know, I don't really like the idea of that. I think it's important to question things, but like, just to like fucking ruffle everyone's feathers all the time and just be offended by everything it's weak, man. You got to listen to people and just like, yeah, right. Do you know what I mean? I get wound up by things, but you just got to think, why am I getting wound up by that? It's something inside me. You know, I don't think people mean half the things they say. They're just trying to get a rise out of someone, or they think it's funny. So most of the time, they don't actually believe it. I think there's a lot of people that call bloody racists that aren't. They're just trying to wind their kids up, or whatever, or they just think it's funny. It's not. But the danger in that is that when they can get in groups and then they start to sort of have that confirmation biases, and then they go on marches, and then before you know it, you've got like a fucking fascist government and a fascist majority where people are like, I think foreigners are all the blue. Fucking bollocks. So part of me is like, yeah, and then part of me is like, nah. But, you know, it's good to talk about it. I think that like actual fascism in action, when you see it, is disgusting. But I suppose you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful, because the process is, it sort of starts with maybe the making fun of, and then everyone's like, yeah, I suppose that's funny, that, yeah. And then it gets a bit worse and worse over the years, and you get desensitized to it. And then maybe people are killed, and then you're like, maybe that's what happens, because they get desensitized to it. So I'm like, let's keep an eye on all this stuff. Let's keep an eye on anything trying to divide and disperse communities and make people into the other. I think that's something we should be keeping an eye on. Anything that's like, there's this side and that side is distraction from what could really possibly be going on, that's actually having a disastrous effect on humankind and the environment and society as a whole, the economy. Someone's up to some dodgy shit and there's distractions going on, and they're like, well, look at this, but really over there, what they're doing over there, taking away workers' rights, it's going to affect everyone, Not just this side, that colour, that gender, whatever. Everyone. So, don't fucking get too into all of these ideologies. Think about what's actually going on. Because it's all a fucking distraction from what's really going on. What is really going on? We're all just breathing, shitting, fucking bastards. Aren't we? Doing a powerlifting competition in June. Under 90 kilo category. That's right, I'm under 90 kilo. I'm only about £200. So about almost 100 kilo last year. About 15 stone-ish. Which is fucking quite big. To just put that on quite quickly. Or having a lot of Ben and Jerry's. It wasn't very healthy at all. Not at all. So I won't do that dirty bulk again. Made me feel like I'm having a heart attack. You sort of had these like ice cream hangovers every morning. Because having like a whole pint of ice cream every night to try and bulk up for this strongman event I did. Which I'll be doing again in September. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. For this powerlifting comp, I think it's just a good thing to have in my head, I'm doing that. So, work hard in the gym, with the food, everything. It all helps. Synchronous. Whatever the word is. Yeah. Bloody hell. I was doing some prints of brains over this week. Lino cuts of brains. I've been really thinking about brains, how they work and how they're just strange things. These like meat blobs, muscle blobs, neurons, electrical impulses. We've just got these brains inside of us. We get knocked out too hard. They get fucked up and then they just stop working. Dodge it. Isn't it mad? Oh, we're just these fucking blobs. We're all these blobs with ideas that we think are important. We're just fucking flesh blobs. So stupid. We're actually really stupid. So stupid. Humans are just like so stupid. Their heads are too big. They almost split our mums in half when we come out of them. Like fucking melons. Mad. Absolutely crazy. Just fucking flash blobs. Pissing, shitting fucking flash blobs. We're not. I mean, that could turn you right. Existential that. I mean, I don't think nihilism's very cool. I never have. But I think they've got something worth saying. I think maybe if we think life is meaningless, that could be a positive. Because maybe we'd try more things. We wouldn't really care about failing too much if we had that viewpoint. But I think too many people become apathetic in a negative way. I think apathy could be a useful tool. I think maybe there is a positive and a negative to it. The meaningless of everything, nothing has any point. But that could be a good thing to think about in terms of just trying shit out. Oh, I've not got enough money in the bank. Just fucking do stuff, man. Just fucking do stuff. So I've doubted myself before. I think that's actually quite a good thing, to be scared of something and just carry on doing it. Because people support people that take risks. They're doing cool shit. And some of these things that I'm doing is like, I spend all this money on materials, do these workshops that I don't have. They might not sell any tickets, but anyway, why not? We're all going to fucking kick it. So we just got to do stuff. Same with painting. Right, for the last 10 years, no money, just keep doing it. Yeah, just keep buying materials, just keep doing it. Oh well, as long as you got enough to just keep doing what you like doing. Isn't that what life's all about? Just being happy and just doing what you like doing. And being able to earn enough as well to help other people. Which is what I like doing. To be able to give other people a leg up. That's the aim. Support yourself, support other people. Help the community. And socialise the community through creative endeavours. creativity, curiosity, community. It's the 3 C's that I sort of end every email with. And another good thing to end an email is love, peace, love and light. I like that. And my mate Reese says that, peace, love and light. I like that. It's good. There ain't enough peace, love and light in this bloody world, is there? But there ought to be. Yeah. Turkish barbers yesterday. Give me a skin fade. I quite like it. Because I've been looking like a bit of a scruffy bastard for the last few weeks. It's been growing this beard, but I thought, you know what, I'll get it all shaved. Get it all shaved up, looking all smart and nice. And I think actually I probably could be a male model. Because I'm proper fucking attractive. But I always tell people, I say, you know what? You look 200% better if you had an haircut and you just wore clothes that fit you properly. Anyone. And you'd feel better and you'd just become more ambitious because you wouldn't be too self-conscious. You'd be thinking, well, I look really good, feel good. And then it's just easier to do stuff when you look good, feel good. Which is half the reason I do all the exercise and stuff. But you got to look good and feel good to get stuff done, I think. If you feel all gross, it's just harder to do work. I don't know how people sit there in their own fucking shit and piss and get anything done. So clean up your ass and get a fucking haircut. Stupid hippies. I don't like hippies. I think punks and I think metalheads are actually more like sweethearts than hippies. I think hippies are too fucking much into this ideology that everything should just be all flowery. And they don't really understand how everything works. You know, that there's accountability and responsibility and that things need to happen in order to take over. We can't just get rid of fossil fuels. We can't just do it like that. It takes a certain amount of time. Once we start investing in, you know, renewable energy more, we'll still need to have some kind of fossil fuels. But maybe like, well, we will, because you always need a backup. I think. It's just like being too idealistic is stupid. I think it's kind of good to be delusional sometimes, but I don't think it's a way of really changing anything. I mean, if you really do believe in something, you should invest in it and work in that industry, not just talk about it. You know, that's the way to actually change things, is to become a part of it. Like if you want renewable energy to become this big thing, invest in it. It's just stupid how people aren't thinking this way. They're just like, oh, you've got to destroy the system. But if you destroy the system, there's no system to even get anything implemented. It's just stupid. You've got to think with your brain. It's a very powerful thing. People are just numbing it down with like drugs and all this shit. They're not thinking with their fucking brains. Yeah. Read books. Swear down, if everyone in this country just brought £1, £2 worth of stocks every week in fucking renewable energy, whatever it is, it's just like, let's build something. Let's invest. And let's just give these companies money to just become massive, and then they would. And then we could sort of have these publicly owned utility companies that are just run non-profit and just supply everyone with energy. We all just fucking go to work and tune out. The things that we spend the money on are just fucking donuts and beer. It's fucking stupid. How can you affect change with that? We're just supplying money to the fucking sugar industry, and it's like taxes going to buy fucking Palm Angel sliders for Rishi Sunak. What's going on? Everyone's just got mucus covered brains. They're not thinking about anything. Use your head. Have a fucking contemplation hat on and do some thinking. How can you affect change, and then start doing it? And then once you're doing it, maybe other people will do it. That's how you do it. Don't just say things, actually do something. You've got to take action. I don't think protesting is action a lot of the time. I feel like when I'm looking at what some people are doing, they're just having a piss up, and it's just a bunch of these stupid fucking middle class people who are having it large, don't really care about anything, and they don't know anything. They think they do, and they're fucking annoying. And then other people, like me, see that, and then they get wound up by it, and they're like, I don't fucking like those people. So then that's how people become radicalised, because there's a fucking bunch of posh wankers talking about stuff that doesn't even affect them, and then winding up people that it does affect, to make them vote in a way where they're actually worse off. It's a load of bollocks. But, all these fucking middle class people in these professional jobs aren't going to do very well when there's war and shit. They're not going to be able to do it. Like, well, what good is graphic design in a fucking drought or, nuclear wasteland? Isn't it? You don't know how to do it. So he's learning how to do stuff. DIY. Survival. The world is going to end soon. It is. For most of us. If you think about it, billions of years have already passed. Then we're just like this little part of the timeline. Just think about that, puts it into perspective. Fucking go and try something. Yeah. Crazy. I was talking to this bloke the other day. He really likes tall women, but he's like 5 foot something. I think that's a bit weird. But the thing, you always see like fat women with really skinny blokes, or like tall women with smaller blokes. I think it's maybe like a primal thing where they're like, maybe it's just all even it out if we make kids. Maybe they'll be normal. Maybe they'll be like a normal height and normal weight. I don't think that's how it works. I don't know. Like the medium of the both. Maybe. But anyway, I just think it's... Yeah, never. It's weird. Giant... I don't know why you want to go out with like a giant woman, is it? Like a short bloke. I don't get it. If you're listening to this dude, this dude listen to the podcast, literally telling me this. If you're listening to this, what's that about? A bit weird. But then again, people like sticking lollipop sticks up their bums, so not as weird as that, I suppose. You're fucking gerbils. Imagine that, just fucking gerbils scratching your insides, your anus. That'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Wouldn't like that. Furry, scratchy, horrible sort of inside you. I think that sensory experience sort of describes what I feel when I look at Nigel Farage's face. Very scratchy anus. Gerbil. Kinda like Nigel Farage, I think he's funny. But also think he's a knobhead. I think that's the danger. We've got this like bloke who's survived a plane crash, survived cancer. He's like sort of this indestructible force of nature that's come here to ruin everything. And with a really funny smile. He likes fishing, but he's this... Yeah, it's dodgy. You've got to be careful with people that are likeable. People liked Hitler. Yeah. I was also thinking the other day how when I was playing video games as a youngster, these like sniper games like Call of Duty, that after playing them for a long time, I'd go outside in the real world and I'd be able to see better. I'd be able to spot things that I wouldn't usually spot, probably because I was looking for like enemy snipers, which made me think maybe we could use these games to help us expand the way that we see the world around us, which is also a thing that I've been putting in this perception book that I'm writing about. There must be ways to expand our fields of vision and be able to really take everything in. I suppose it's just practicing looking. I think as artists we see more because we're more engaged with the environment than other people. We've not got our blinders on. We're okay about being distracted. I suppose it's okay with being distracted, which kind of sounds weird because you need to be focused to make work, but I think it's okay to be distracted sometimes. I think sort of maybe scheduling in a time where it's alright to be distracted a bit can lead to new sort of impactful possibilities in your artwork, in your life. Even like conversations you don't know you're going to have. Walking down the street you wouldn't normally walk down, bump into someone, learn something new. Like those weird people that sell like socialist newspapers on the street, I like chatting with them sometimes. But I think everything they believe in is a load of rubbish. They're fucking crazy Marxists and they want to take all your money to fund new offices that cost £2 million in London. It's a bit dodgy. I don't think they're getting anywhere. And they were actually kicked out of the Labour Party because they're seen as revolutionaries, which you don't want, because it just causes a big problem. Really. You need things to work properly, and if you've got a revolution going on, then you can't really keep everything ticking over nicely. You're not really going to be able to get your Amazon Prime parcels on time, are you? So I'm not really sure how much I believe in that. Because like convenience of the next day delivery. So I'm not sure. That's why I wouldn't vote for the Revolutionary Party. Yeah. See how you fix it is it's not stopping it. It's just paying people more. That's how you fix it, I reckon. There needs to be... I mean, some people like working, but I don't think anyone really likes working that many hours to earn piddle. It's a load of bollocks. I certainly don't. So I'll try to figure that out in a minute. I'm still figuring out. Almost got there. What I would say is, though, investing seems very smart. And it's a good way of having more power over how things are run in the world in this sort of system that we are in. Like I said earlier, even if you own a fraction of a stock, as a shareholder, you can go to the sort of AGMs and these meetings where they vote on big issues and vote on who's going to be on the board of directors and things, and actually cast a vote, like I did the other day with Amazon. So let's try and change one of these big corporations. But it's by like fractional shares and being able to vote. Make a big shift in how things are run. But I suppose we'd all need a big share of these companies to actually do it, because a lot of the board of directors will have a big percentage of them. So how much effect do we really have? But I'd say if over 10% of people that own a part of a company believe a certain thing, then they've got to listen to that. They've got to think, well, 10%. 10% is a lot. There's a lot. They've got to listen. I don't know, if I was running something, I wouldn't want to listen to anyone else. I'd just be like, fuck off. Which is why I wouldn't make anything public. Kind of like the private. Yeah, kind of like private company. I like the idea of a cooperative. I suppose mine's a for-profit, but still interested in the community. But I like a Porsche. Does that make sense? And a big house. But I suppose you don't really need a massive house and a Porsche, but maybe a small one with a double garage and like two nice little, maybe a tractor and a pickup truck and a Porsche. I don't know. I mean, you don't need a lot. The people still buy all this shit. That's why I've got this fucking cone. Where'd it come from? Everything's just designed by people. And just think about all these weird things that are out there. There's dildos in the shape of like alien tentacles. Why would anyone want that? And that's a product that's out there. It's been mass produced in factories in China. Probably by children. Isn't that weird? So you've got this sort of alien demonic object sex toy thing being made by Chinese sweatshop children. Very odd. And then the type of people that like buying these sex objects are often the type of people that are much against any type of exploitation. But then they're buying all of these things. And then they're the type of people that are like, well, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. Well, there ain't going to be if you're fucking buying shit without thinking about what you're buying, is there? If you want to consume ethically, then there has to be a budget. There has to be frugality, and there has to be thought in every decision you make. There has to be thoughtfulness. That's basically just ignorance. If you're saying that there's no ethical consumption, that's ignorance. Because there can be, you just choose it not to. Because you're fucking chaotic. Too chaotic. There needs to be scheduling and rules in order for there to be less unethical, exploitation going on. Rules matter. Law and order. This is why hippies are fucking dumb. It can't be a free-for-all. That's where it's all these cults, all these fucking hippie cults. Exploitative. That's where all these like dodgy things go on. Then you got these big bearded men who prey on young girls that become their followers. Your young boys. Dodgy. Dodgy. Very dodgy. What we need to do is round up all the nonces and kill them. Yep. People that like having sex with children. We should basically just round them all up and shoot them. We could also do this with some of the politicians, but then I suppose I'd be encouraging terrorism, so I don't really want to do that. I don't know. It's all relative, isn't it? Depends on which side of the fence you're born on. Yeah. Change. What else? The world. The world. The world. Yeah. So, changing the world starts with changing yourself. And that's what I'd say. And changing the way you go about things in the world. The actions you take change the world every day. The way you consume, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to people, the habits you have, the schedule you have, everything. It affects the world. Because we're all a part of the universe. You know. We are the universe. Anyone can do anything. Just learn how to do it. Draw diagrams. Sometimes I'll be up at midnight drawing diagrams, things I want to make, and then I make them, and then they're shit. And then I do another diagram, and then I make it better, and then it's an alright thing. So I try things out, do them, and they'll be shit. But then you do them again, and then they'll be a little bit less shit until they're really good. And that's how everything that was ever made has happened. You know, animals, alien tentacle dildos, iPads, sambas, tambourines. Everything was shit until it wasn't. Tomatoes grow out of shit. Literally. Like you'll swallow the seeds and then you get like little tomato plants in tomato pipes. Tomato pipes, shit pipes. It's like sewage pipes. Tomato plants growing. It's crazy. Madness. So if you think of it like that, anyone can do anything, because if a tomato can grow out of shit, then so can a man. You know, if you're just surrounded by shit, it doesn't mean that you have to be shit. You could be fucking brilliant. You know, go and get some Lynx Africa shower gel and have a clean up in the shower. Get all the shit off you. Then you get nice and sparkly, and it'll be like a lovely sparkly marble in this pool of shit. You know, what I always think is, I may not own the nicest car, but if I look after it, then it's going to be the best of the shit cars. So if you've got all of these shit cars lined up to next to each other, but mine's a bit more shiny and it's clean inside, then mine's the best one. So you've got to think about everything. Tidy it up, clean it, and take care of it. It'll work better, and people want to work with you. Tomatoes growing out of shit. San Marzanos. Which, I suppose, thinking about shit and manure, that sort of takes you back to the whole cattle thing and how the bird flu's sort of affecting these cattle again, isn't it? It's just you got to think about these things, because once it gets to the pigs, we're going to be fucked. There's definitely going to be another pandemic within the next 10 years, no doubt. So we can get on all this health shit and earn as much money as you can and become more self-sufficient. Less outgoings, more incomings. And be like the tomato plant, not the shit. Be the tomato plant growing out the shit. The more power we have, the better it will be. Knowledge is power. Tomatoes, great. Yeah. Rabbit holes and tangents. No. What else have I got? I've got some other stuff. Let me share some other stuff out of this book I'm working on. Well, actually, here we go. This is something I just wrote on my blog the other day. In the pursuit of clarity, I become obsessed with clarity for clarity's sake, which I think could lead to apathy and back to cycles of negative existential nihilistic behaviour. I have started to use the clarity from the strategies I've implemented in my life. Working out, eating right, good amount of rest, tidy environment, grooming well, being well read. I have started to use the clarity to make positive changes. Still, though, desire can catch me, which is a nice phrase, desire can catch me. But I'm getting better at telling myself no. I don't think it's addiction where this desire stems, but rather the shared human need for love, though I find loving myself is waiting and not chasing. It's choosing to be picky who I spend time with, double down on my intuition rather than ignore it like I have in the past. But back to using clarity. I think I've started to really enjoy being in my studio, to be writing, drawing, printing and painting, planning workshops to expand others' knowledge and learn from other people who partake in them. Interested in expanding perception. I'm writing a publication which will be odd, more like a wallet than a book, stuffed with different bits of paper for exploration of others. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, clarity for clarity's sake. This is where you get addicted to the process of having a clear head. But then what the fuck do you do once you've got a clear head? What's the point? If you're just doing all these things to get a clear head and then you're not actually using the clear head to get anything done. So start looking at stuff and start trying to change things by taking action, writing a book, looking for work and getting a job, a good job, not a fucking shit one. And you'll be able to get a good one. You can talk yourself into anything. You just email people and get a job. That's how I've got my past 2 ones. Just email, just talking to people. There's no CVs. Just talk. Just do stuff and people become attracted to you as a person, as someone they want to employ or work with. Like, I'm not employed, I just send these sheets of paper and then they're like, here you go, here's some money. It's all digital. But yeah, clarity is a good thing, but like, you gotta do something. Else, that's when you just become, like, maybe you could be clear-headed and still become suicidal. So you need some kind of meaning. And they say that meaning and happiness comes from having agency and having gratitude. So you actually do need to do, so you have to use your agency, that capability, the capacity to do stuff and take action. You actually have to use that. Not just for running or for lifting weights, but for changing the world through whatever it is you're good at, or whatever it is you want to be good at, by just doing that thing until you're good at it. Like I said, it's just repetition. Oh, it's shit, do it again. Oh, it's slightly less shit, do it again. That was better. You're only going to get there if you've got a clear head, or if you're just very determined. But it's easier if you've got clarity. So to sort it out. I think these fucking things are just messages to myself. I don't think they're for anyone else. Yeah. Anyway, I've come to enjoy a basic understanding of biology of the human eye as a starting point. According to Wikipedia, it's a medium for recording information in the form of images. That's what the book is. I was looking at the definition of what a book is, because I was like, well, can I call this thing a book if it doesn't look like a book? But of course you can call whatever you want anything, because it's all just noises. Language is quite limiting, especially the English language is quite limiting. So other languages in the world where they have words for things that we don't have words for, like in Italian there's a special word for the ring left by a drink on a table. There's a special word for that. We don't really have a word for it. We just call it a ring of water on a table. But they've got like a nice little word for it. Or there's, words in other languages for feelings that we don't really know how to describe in English. So language is quite limiting. So we don't think too much about how you're going to describe stuff in language. Sort of oral language. Maybe we should just be blinking and whistling and making weird gestures with our faces to communicate more so than we do with words. I think that's how we do it in England. I think a lot of stuff is with very subtle, nuanced facial expressions. We sort of change the tone slightly, and you're like a strange nod of the head, but it's a very particular way of doing it, so other people can understand. You can make someone piss their pants by just raising an eyebrow sometimes. Yeah. And that's the type of thing I think I'd do if I was doing stand-up. I think I'd literally just walk on the stage and take a few deep breaths, and that would be like a good 5 minutes. I think that would make people laugh, just the way. It's just about timing, I think. You just sort of focus in on someone. Just make silly looking faces. I think that's what my comedy is. It's just like a strange sort of absurd use of body language. Yeah. And I think in art, how we speak about that is proper up itself. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of big words that people don't understand, and sometimes I'm just like, my personal statements might even be quite difficult to understand. So I try and make them easy to understand without dumbing them down, because I want people to learn new words and to sort of be provoked and to think. And to not just be told, so that they can interpret things in their own way. Because there's no right way of seeing anything, and I think that's what I like about it. But other people are very much like, oh, you've got to see it in this way. Because I think that's just fucking stupid, because no one's going to see it the same way, because we're all made to be different. We're all completely different, you know. So, it's fucking stupid. Because we're not singular. We're made up of all of these different experiences that have led us into this moment right now. So how could anyone at any point think the same thing as someone else? But we do often finish each other's sentences. It's kind of crazy. The mind is a wonderful thing. So if you're interested in the mind, I'd recommend using it. You twat. Yeah. So I was making a coffee with my V60 coffee dripper earlier, which is a very sort of hipster device. It's like a percolator, but it doesn't have any electronic devices attached. It's basically a funnel. You put a coffee filter in, and then you wet it. You put your ground up coffee in, and you pour over hot boiling water, and it drips into a mug below, or some kind of jug. And then you've got really nice sort of filtered coffee. You could taste more of the flavours and sort of start getting different notes of different things, and it's more complex. It's less gritty like you get with a French press or a cafetiere, whatever you want to call it. It separates the wheat from the chaff, and I drew like a diagram of this device the other day, and I wrote, our minds fed information through filter, helping us to determine important things. Wheat from the chaff, which is something I sort of was thinking about when I was reading Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception, because he too was talking about a similar thing. In fact, let me quote it now. Bloody hell. The function of the brain and nervous system is to protect us from being overwhelmed and confused by this mass of largely useless and irrelevant knowledge, by shutting out most of what we should otherwise perceive or remember at any moment, and leaving only that very small and special selection which is likely to be practical or useful. And then I started talking about how I think our body is everything simultaneously. It's a composition of the universe. I was always talking about how if we had full consciousness, that would be kind of overwhelming, wouldn't it? If we just sort of perceived everything, if we had this like perception of everything all the time, it would be fucking well noisy. You wouldn't get anything done, because you just hear and see and feel everything. You'd be planted on the floor. But that's how I feel when I'm like super high. I could not smoke weed, because I just feel everything intensely. I just can't do it. I don't know how people have a good time when they're on these things that expand their perceptions. I'm just like, I feel like I'm already pretty good at perceiving things. I don't need help. Or, yeah, it's a bit dumb, to be honest. But I mean, Aldous Huxley this whole book was about being on, what's it? Thingamajig. Psilocybin. So he was talking about how he was just really interested in looking at his trousers, and how he didn't really get much done because he was just interested in small things, and he didn't really have any want to do anything other than just look. It could be quite good and useful sometimes to just really sort of just look at something intensely. But if you were doing that all the time, you won't get anything done. Then we'd all just die. We need we need hunger, and we need worry in order to be able to get anything done, I think. What a fucking people that are just brought up with a silver spoon in their mouth, I don't understand how they even get anything done. But I suppose they're taught it. They're taken to these schools and they're taught that you've got to do something, and they're sort of told you got to do something, so then they start doing stuff. But a lot of them do go off on one, and they die early because they're just on all these drugs because they don't see the point in anything. So I think having some work to do is a good thing. I think I'm really like America, because in America people really want to become something massive, something big. And over here, a lot of time when you talk to people about that, they think you're a bit delusional, but I don't think it's actually that delusional when you do the maths. Because I've been doing the maths recently, I've been organising things and figuring stuff out, and I reckon in a year's time, 2 years' time, could be looking at like 100k a year thing, if done properly. So it's not delusional, it's just looking at the figures and not being scared to actually fucking do something. But people put you down because they're fucking losers, and they're not doing out, and they need help. So pat them on the back and say, it's going to be alright. Fucking slimy little bastards. No one wants to do anything that's actually going to change how they are. They just fucking want to carry on in this sort of existence. One holiday a year. I've not been on holiday for years. Not like a proper one. Just like, not been proper. Just like little, like stay with a mate or whatever. You don't need it. Sleep is a holiday. I don't know. See, why do you need a holiday? Because you're not happy with your life, not happy with where you are. But if you change it and you enjoy every day, then you wouldn't really need as many holidays, would you? That's the thing. Or maybe you'd be going to learn something, to see how other cultures go about their daily lives, to learn something, to become more enlightened, which is a stupid fucking term that long-haired hippies use, isn't it? I'll become enlightened. If you're saying that, you're a twat. That's what I think. Everyone's basically a twat. That's what I see, even me. If you're scared of being one, then that's your first mistake, because you're never going to get anything done if you don't, end up looking a bit like, you got to look like a twat to not be a twat. That's what it is. Like, for the first, good chunk of my life, I would say, I looked like a twat because I didn't really know how to dress properly, but I was experimenting until it worked. And even now, I still think sometimes I look like a proper twat because I'm trying out something new and it doesn't really work. But when it does, it's great. So let's do stuff. No one gives a toss. And sometimes people get offended, but then they, that fizzles out. Who cares? I don't know. Yeah, I've had enough of this now. But see you next week. Bye.